welcome everyone to another episode of PTR Perspective, where we're going to be talking about the EV charging infrastructure industry. EVCI industry has been facing significant headwinds recently. News of Tritium going bankrupt, layoffs at companies including ChargePoint and Tesla Superchargers team. Not market related, but unfortunate incident with Alpitronic factory as well. In today's episode, we will be talking about what is happening in the EVCI industry, what does the future hold. I have with me two of my colleagues, Saqib Saeed, who leads our products division and is the chief product officer, as well as Rafe Khan, who is basically the lead analyst for all of the e-mobility research at PTR. Starting off with you, Saqib, what is happening? What are your thoughts on Tesla layoffs and the overall industry situation?
Ooh, tough question, Hassan. I think it's a mix of emotions right now. If I were to put this in three kind of emotions that I see in the industry, everybody's reacting to it. It was shocking, to say the least, for everybody, especially the layoffs of the entire supercharger team at Tesla, and also frustrating as well. And then I think it's sad. Any mass layoffs in the industry obviously has that element attached to it as well. And I'll try to kind of delve deeper into these emotions which I think right now exist in the industry. First, shocking is because this is the team which was the North Star for everyone in the EVCI industry in North America. This was the team which developed a network which was like a benchmark for everyone in terms of reliability. And we've heard so many issues in terms of reliability of EV charging infrastructure. And this was the network which was the benchmark. Okay, not 100%, but much significantly better than other networks in North America and worldwide as well. This was the team which solved, or at least the efforts of this team solved a very big problem of lack of standardization. It's something we have talked a lot about over the years, that how lack of standards for any new technology is detrimental. Everybody is confused, the manufacturer, the end user. There's no, let's say, cohesive kind of approach towards solving this problem. So this problem with lack of standardization, especially the charging ports, has existed in this for a while. So in North America, the way this team the reliability of the network, and then the availability, because of that NACS became the go-to standard. And we saw from last year May, actually it was in these days when Ford announced that big announcement, the breaking of the ice, that hey, Ford is going NACS 2025. And then one after the other, all automotive manufacturers announced that they're going NACS. So I think that was because of the efforts of this team. So yeah, that is what makes me say that this is shocking, to say the least, that the entire team that made this happen no longer exists. Um, Frustrating is, like, we will talk about the impact of this onto the industry, but it's a negative thing for the EVCI and e-mobility industry. So personally, and I'm sure that's the emotion that exists throughout the industry, that it's a negative thing. It I think it has made the EVCI industry, specifically in North America, but globally as well, weaker than what it was in 2023. So that brings that element of frustration, that you hear so many good things happening. You hear about megawatt charging, and you're like, the dream of making the charging experience very similar to refueling a car. You're very close to it, so you hear these good news one after another. And then there is this streak of bad news, and this, I think, is a big blow for the industry. So that kind of you know makes me say that it's frustrating that it's gonna have its negative impacts, and sad because I've personally seen many posts on LinkedIn, on social media, from actually folks who got impacted because of these layoffs, and specifically this particular team. And one of the key message that I saw was that they couldn't even say goodbye to their team members. So obviously it was a shock for them as well. So that obviously, as I said, is an element that is always attached with mass layoffs. So yeah, that's I think that's the kind of emotion that I have, and I think that exists throughout the industry as well
I think
about
one of the
this.
reasons why this is such a big news in the industry because it's multi-dimensional, right? Like, especially with the NACS standardization in the US with multiple auto OEMs jumping onto it, and the fact that they were the leading team overall in the automotive sector for EVCI kind of benchmark makes it a bit more shocking, as you said. Let's double click a bit more into Tesla. And over to you, Rafe. Like, what does your research or your team's research say? What really happened? What is happening at Tesla? Why did they lay off the entire Superchargers team?
So Hassan, there are a lot of speculations in the market on what are the exact reasons. One of them is regarding mishaps in operation and performance of the team itself, of the Superchargers team. So, for example, in the past 1 year or so, we have seen that a lot of 800-volt vehicles, including the cyber trucks, they were not able to charge efficiently on the Superchargers. So what happened was initially they were charging at 250 kilowatt, but as the charging progress, the charging speed lowered. So that was a dent on the team's performance. Similarly, issues with new V4 chargers as well. So there were complaints of short cables being attached with the new chargers. And also their slow pace of installation. It was launched back in March 2023, and not a lot of chargers were installed in the past 1 year. So that could be that might have been a reason for a dent on their performance, on the team's performance. But since Saqib also mentioned that they did such an exemplary job when it came to standardization of NACS, I think performance was not the biggest issue. Uh, there is a lot of news around. So in press releases from Tesla and also Elon Musk on X and Twitter, he's talking about a strategic shift towards AI training and interference, and more towards focus towards autonomous cars. So I think it has more to do with a strategic shift where Tesla is now focusing more on vehicles, and particularly autonomous vehicles now. Previously, if you go 5 years back, it was superchargers where they were spending a lot on R&D of new chargers, but now the focus has shifted towards AI training and interference, and particularly autonomous cars. And another reason I would say is after NACS standardization, Tesla wants other companies, other vehicle manufacturers, other CPOs, other charger manufacturers to basically take the lead in installing the infrastructure. They do not want to continue doing all the efforts when it comes to installing charging infrastructure, and they want other participants to play a more active role. And this way, Tesla vehicles will be charging on other networks as well. And this is what basically is how the company is now thinking, and these are the reasons why we think that Tesla let go the whole superchargers team.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very strategic move as well, right? Like, now that NACS is standardized, everyone's going to be installing NACS, and then the strategic advantage of having a supercharger network is not really necessary to promote more EVs. But I also think that because of, like, our data says, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rafi, that the pricing of chargers is going to come down. So EV chargers business is becoming more competitive as well. So I think at this point they're probably thinking that might want to invest in a different business or different line of business because they have multiple areas they focus on. But back to you, Sakib. What do you think it means for the EVCI industry, specifically in North America, right? Because Tesla is a huge player over there. How does that make the market shift? What does it mean for North America?
Mhm, mhm. So as I said earlier as well, that I think shift like this or a change like this has its negative impacts. Um, I truly believe that the EVCI industry in North America is weaker in 2024 compared to the last year, because the number of good news that we were hearing last year, that is not the case this year. So specifically with regards to this event, there is obviously a short-term panic because Tesla was working with pretty much every stakeholder in the industry. They were working with electric utilities, and we know that how does that relationship work. We know that how permitting processes have been one of the key pain points throughout the installation of EV chargers. They were also working with a lot of suppliers. So all that interaction, and also automotive players, you know, all of them who decided to go NACS, uh, Tesla engineers were closely working with the engineers at those automotive companies. So all that relationship, the ongoing work gets affected, no questions about that. We saw some mass emails being sent out, generic to some extent. I've seen some emails like addressing everybody. Hey, if we owe you money, hold on. If you are our supplier, hold on. We'll get back to you. I feel for the folks who are actually managing this when the whole team is gone. It's going to be it's a short term panic. To say the least. Um, Next, as we discussed, that because of the efforts of this team, this became, a standard. Everybody, like outside of Tesla, as Rafe said, it opens up opportunities. It has opened up opportunities for others as well. We already see very uh, slowly, but other networks starting to go with NACS, knowing that in the coming years vehicles will have NACS, so it makes sense for other networks to go for it. Question then is that with this is the um, is the dominance or the, let's say, region-wide acceptance of NACS as a standard, is that in trouble or not? I think it is in trouble. It impacts its adoption. I have heard about some news of some automotive players who had already decided um, to move towards NACS. They're having board meetings that, hey, did we make a wrong decision? Is it time to go back to the CCS? So those are the kind of discussions I think are not good for the industry, and it once again brings us back to the whole idea of having multiple standards, which we already discussed is what we don't want. We have gone through it. We know that this kind of divided approach is not in the interest of e-mobility industry. um, Another thing that Rafe also mentioned briefly, I think that is also the is going to be the outcome. It is going to open up opportunities for other players, other network operators as well. I think it's time for other network operators to actually use this as an opportunity to improve the issues because of which they had their problems in the network. So it's time that they address those issues. And I think it's this window. It's not a big window. And this is the time where they need to come in and fill the gap and reduce the impact, the blow of this that the industry will feel. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity uh, for existing players, but as you also mentioned that there are other events going on in the industry as well. I saw an estimate that roughly there is 600 to 700 EVCI professionals on the job market right now who were part of multiple layoffs, multiple episodes in 2024 so far. Um, that makes me say that we are, and these are like very talented folks who have dedicated their lives, their entire careers are around EV charging infrastructure. So I think we're gonna see an increase in startups in this ecosystem. There's a lot of ideas, within this group of folks who are in the job market, and not everybody is going to adjust into other areas. So that makes me say that we could, as a result of this, we could see
Yeah.
some startups. Some very exciting ideas being put forward in the EVCI industry.
Very interesting that the fact that new companies, you still expect the new companies to be formed, despite the fact that the industry is, for now at least, going through headwinds. But
Mm.
also, our expectation is that at some point it will kind of recover as well. Especially, I think in the US, there is another dimension of the elections happening as well, and that
Hmm.
is adding to the uncertainty into the market. So
It
I
does.
think when the dust settles, there would be some
Just one
interesting things to
point,
see.
sorry to interrupt you, Hassan. One point, in terms of, and again, this is something Rafi already mentioned. Um, if we talk about the impact on the market growth, it will have an impact.
Mhm.
Tesla, if I'm not wrong, it's 75% of the ultra fast chargers network is Tesla,
Yep.
and all the plans that they had, it impacts the forecast of fast chargers.
Yeah.
Um, and what we know so far is that obviously existing network isn't going anywhere, because the all the maintenance staff is there, which is encouraging for anybody
Yeah.
who owns a Tesla. Uh, so that the network is not going anywhere. It's not being dismantled or condemned, but um, the growth of new sites is uh, is in question, and that's what Rafa was referring to as well. The tweet that Elon Musk shared had the same flavor, that we are not going to go at a at the pace at which they were going previously with regards to the new sites. But the focus will be obviously the reliability. So that was the one keyword that everybody picked: reliability of the existing network, but also having more charging ports at the existing sites. So
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
impact on new charging sites is definitely there.
Mhm.
I've personally seen some conversations, the email exchange between utilities and CPOs or other players working on the new sites, suppliers, in dark. They
Yeah.
don't
Yep.
know what to do with the even with the sites which were already kind of in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So it's going to have an impact on the forecast of charges. But one positive thing is that on the existing sites there will be more charging points installed. It's just the new sites, and I'm just trying to connect dots here. We know that with regards to opening new sites, the biggest issue is getting the permits.
Mhm.
We have seen cases where you know it takes months you know to get a charging site live with Tesla's new prefabricated. I don't know if you've seen those. It's like comes with the concrete slab. You have the charging piles in that slab. It's plug and play. What good is this plug and play if the utility connection is going to take, I don't know, 6 to 8 months. So just trying to connect the dots, maybe this is also one of the reasons Tesla wants to get out of this headache, like where the interaction happens. The grid upgrades is a big issue,
Yeah.
with the megawatt charging, with the higher and higher EV charging capacities. The power requirements of one site, it definitely requires upgrades on the grid, and we know that it takes time. So just trying to connect the dots, this could be also one of the reasons why basically Tesla wants out of this interaction with the
Another
utilities.
thing
And
to also
mm,
consider is that being a CPO is not a very profitable business today, right? Like we have seen
today.
CPOs struggling around the world. It's something which is, everyone, like, at least you see on the books of the public CPOs, that it's not a profitable business. So I think that also is one of the reasons why Tesla might not want to invest more into that business and let others take charge, and then focus somewhere else as a technology company. Um, in all of this paradigm, back to you, Rafe. What is Tesla's future then? Would it still remain a player in the EV charging business? Would they just, become kind of automotive company only? Like, how do you see the future of Tesla moving forward?
Right. So currently, as I mentioned before as well, the renewed focus where it's focusing on AI and autonomous vehicles, that is their core area of focus right now. So they're investing almost $10 billion this year for this AI and autonomous vehicles. They're planning to launch robo taxi in August. So this is what Tesla is currently focusing on. As far as the charging infrastructure is concerned, although they will still be maintaining the existing fleet of chargers which are on the ground, but we can expect them to pull out from that as well. They probably might sell off the whole infrastructure to someone else or outsource the maintenance part. So Tesla, from its plans right now, it does not look that they are going to stay in this business for a long time. Um, and then lastly, I would like to mention, and it is very interesting that how will the charging infrastructure, them leaving charging infrastructure is going to impact their EV sales. So we've been seeing that the EV sales for Tesla have dropped in the past few quarters, and this is particularly because this could actually deteriorate because now the Tesla drivers do not have that exclusivity of charging at a supercharger. So that's probably going to impact their brand image and perception as well, which I think and I fear that the Tesla sales might go down as well because the competition from the other side is very strong with newer EV models being launched with better efficiencies and better uh, looks as well. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see as well. That how is the EV charging Tesla exiting this market going to impact their other businesses?
Mhm. Very, very interesting point. I think so I was in a conference last week on mobility as well, and one of the things shared by a panelist from Mazda was that the future of mobility is autonomous, electric, and shared. And I think if you think of that scenario, then definitely investing in AI makes a lot of sense. But on the flip side, I agree with you. If they completely exit the EV charging business and don't focus as much on the CPO business, that might also have an impact on their EV sales as well. Very interesting discussion. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your perspectives and your insights. To everyone watching, if you're interested in videos like this, please feel free to head to our website. There's more content like this over there, and feel free to reach out to one of us if you have any follow-up questions to this episode. Thank you so much, and stay connected.